What's going on, everyone? My name is Al the Geek. Welcome to another episode of Get Off My Lawn, where myself and one Captain Xavier, we do old man things about Nerf things. What does that mean? We complain about stuff, we talk about stuff. Maybe we talk to you, maybe we don't talk about you. Maybe we let you call in. But either way, when you call in, you got 3 minutes and we kick you off. Although today is not going to be a call-in show because I think the man behind the curtain that does the phones is not here, but that's okay because today's episode, we have a couple of guests with us, so we will fill our time happily. Also, what we're going to be doing today, which we're kind of excited about, is that all four of us, yes, that's myself, Captain Xavier, and two guests, we were all at Survival Fest. So we will be talking, griping, complaining. We won't be complaining. We will be talking about Survival Fest and other joyous things that happen. If you haven't already, be sure to join the YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, like. As I tell everyone, we're a nonprofit because we want to be a nonprofit. No, because we have no money. So we want you to subscribe so we can actually make some money. If we can actually make money, then we can actually make things. So yes, like, subscribe, share. Don't worry. You're watching this. You know it's good. When you're sharing with people, it's not like you're sharing some crappy videos or some like biblical religious thing where you're trying to convert people. This is us. This is what we do. You should share the joy that you experience just like we do so other people can share and enjoy the experience like we all do. Come on, man. Share and like. Other than that, what else do we got? Well, we got a bunch of things going on, I guess. We're heading into summer. Survival Fest has ended. I think the next big one is End War. End War, I will not be attending. I am having I'm having hip replacement. There you go. Don't get old, kids. You got to replace joints. So I will not be going to End War. However, if you can, obviously it's still an experience down in North Carolina. Many people are going. I'm pretty sure that one Andrew, aka Dart Sweep, and a few friends will be going there, plus other people. So again, if you get a chance to go out to an event, definitely go out to an event. And there's also always stuff happening in your own area. Again, the website is under construction. We were able to pivot. We have a new plan and organization for developing it. Part of it is just raising funds. Back to the whole nonprofit thing. As we raise funds, we are able to complete the website and therefore do everything we promised that we will do. Not because we're pulling your chain or we got something better to do. We all want to see this happen. It's just, money. Which reminds me, if you have a blank check and you want to send us money, we will happily accept it and just sign on it, fix the damn website, and we will happily donate that check right to that cause. Yeah. Cap, man, how are you doing, buddy? What's shaking?
I'm tired. I've been on to 5 events in 4 weeks: Maryland, Borst, Portland, Survival Fest, and then I went to Salt Lake City for fun. But it was still a trip, and I want to sleep for a week, but I don't get to because I've got a job.
Ooh,
At some point,
dude,
I need to actually make some videos again. I don't remember the last time I uploaded a video. It's been a while. And I got all kinds of cool stuff that I picked up from various things and places and stuff. So, yeah, there's going to be stuff. I've got review stuff. I've got stuff to just show off. I've got all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah.
how was Salt Lake City, dude?
Hot. And it's... like, I think it was actually hotter here in the Northwest than it was in Utah, but it's a different kind of heat. It's an oppressive heat. It's an angry heat. It just wears you out. It was, we didn't stay, we tried to keep our time outdoors as little as possible. We did Lego runs, we did root beer runs, we went and we saw a movie. It was lovely. A lot of good food. Yeah. That's what I've got going on. The only thing I've got going on this month now is the third and final event down in the Portland Mall, the Lloyd Center Mall. And then I think the next event I have is Borst in July. I also will not be going to End War. At least I don't currently have any plans to go to End War. But you never know. Next big event I'm currently tentatively planning to go to is RAG. So that one's also now dubious. Though, yeah, you were wanting to go, so I'll probably end up going to that. And I'm definitely going to Mall Madness. I am really looking forward to Mall Madness. The dates have been announced, and I am excited.
When is Mall Madness?
It is the week after RAG.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Of course it is.
October is
Why
going to
would it
be
not be?
back to back to back events because I've got Rag, Mall Madness,
Oh,
and then the last Borst event of the year. So
dude.
everything just keeps stacking up, which is why I'm doing nothing in June and July.
Yeah, that's. I think. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Well then,
Also, it's too hot to. I don't want to go to North Carolina in July. That just doesn't sound pleasant.
it is not. You were not a. You were not built for the super hot weather, so it would
No,
not.
I,
It
I
would
was
not
born
appeal to
in
you.
Idaho. I grew up in Minnesota. I like it cold.
Uh
Should have moved to Alaska when I had the chance.
huh. By the way, since you went to Utah and something else, do you care to when you want to share about the root beer adventures and just the state of what you've gotten, where you're at, and
Yeah,
what we're.
so like a month ago, I announced that I was in earnest going to be working on expanding my root beer collection. That I'd made buttons. I got a button maker, so I made buttons for people who brought me root beer at events. There was a time when people had mailed me a whole bunch of different kinds of root beers, and that kind of that's when I decided to start collecting the bottles. And then when I'd go to events, people would bring me root beers. So I made buttons to give to people who brought me root beer, and fancier buttons for people who brought me new root beers. And then I went searching online for places that I could get additional root beers, and things got a little out of hand. I went from, I think I had 65 different root beer bottles in my collection. I'm now at 139 a month later. I ended up getting like at least a dozen at Maryland Mayhem. I ordered a dozen from Texas. I ordered a bunch from Ohio. I got another 10, I think, 9 or 10 from Survival Fest, and then I got 7 in Utah. So,
Well, also the root beer shop in Frederick.
yeah, that was where I got the dozen from Maryland Mayhem. Somebody gave me a tip that there was a soda shop in Frederick, Maryland, that had a whole wall of root beer. So we went there and we bought so much we qualified for the bulk discount. Um, and it was fabulous. So yeah,
Now,
that challenge still exists. I plan to do a video on it, go over the whole shtick some more. And I'm actually going to publish the list of ones that I have, as well as the ones that I know that exist that I don't have. And if you mail me a bottle of root beer, I will mail you a button someday, just like the patches that I still owe Mr. Nimrod. Um, someday, someday it'll happen. As long as he keeps reminding me, it might actually happen someday. But
it
not
is a
today.
testament. It is a testament to the community. You put it out there, and they respond to you. It's like the people. One of two things: they either like you very much to send you root beer, or they want to give you diabetes and kill you. Either way, the generosity is
Yeah,
there.
they tried that with the Skittles and the gummy bears.
The sugar overload, man.
Oh, yeah, they massively overestimated how much gummy bears and Skittles I actually eat. I mean, they also probably overestimate how much root beer I actually drink. I don't actually drink a lot of root beer. It's just the only thing that I like, vice kind of thing that I drink. Because I don't drink
Yep.
coffee, and I don't drink energy drinks, and I don't drink alcohol, but I do drink root beer, but not in copious quantities.
Nope.
Um, but yeah.
Well,
For the last
taste
month, I've had a
testing,
new bottle of root beer every day. So
and for some reason, 2 years from now, Captain Xavier no longer likes root beer. I can't explain it.
now the
I
beauty of
don't
root beer
understand
is it's
why.
all different.
Yeah.
There is huge. I mean, you were there for one of the tastings when we sat down and went through a dozen bottles of root beer, and they were all very different. Some were good, some weren't so good.
Nope.
I
But we
have
did
discovered
figure
a
out.
pattern. I apparently really like root beers that are honey based.
Oh,
So
interesting.
Sprecher is a honey-based one. Thomas Kemper is a honey-based one. I recently got one off Amazon that I was expecting to not be good, and it turned out to be absolutely delicious. And it was Bear Whiz root beer.
There's a
Um,
name.
and it is also honey-based. And then I had one this weekend that was Rat Bastard. I just had Rat Bastard root beer, and it was also very good. It was molasses based rather than honey based, but it was also really, really good.
I was gonna say we discovered during our tasting that we may have discovered A&W's secret recipe in terms of how they make
Yeah,
their root beer.
we had a dozen different root beers, and there were three guys, and we all had about a quarter of a bottle each. So we have a quarter of a bottle of a dozen different root beers. So we poured them all together, and it just tasted like A&W from the tap that you get at the restaurant. So apparently
Yep.
A&W is just the average of all root beers.
They don't have a plant. They just buy out. They buy out like companies that are going out of business. We will take all of your root beer supply, and then they just add. They do add something for smell because that vat did not smell that appealing,
No,
but tasted like A&W.
weird. Yeah.
Very.
I had, what did I have this weekend? I think it was the Hippo Size Colossal Cream, basically Hippo Size's cream soda. And there was a flavor in it that I could not place. It was genuinely giving me flashbacks of my childhood. But I couldn't remember where the smell and the taste came from. And Lance got pretty close, but it was my younger sister who actually worked it out. It tasted like Bazooka Joe bubblegum.
No way.
Yeah.
That's
like,
weird.
Terrifyingly. Like, oh, yeah, that was it. And then suddenly all the flashbacks clarified it. Oh, yeah, that's why that was the image I was getting. I was chewing that gum at the time. Memories are weird.
Yes. Yes. Very much so. But yeah, I'm glad. So that is definitely the root beer update from the last month.
Yeah.
Again, thank you everyone for it. And the buttons are cool. I have the buttons. That button maker is legit. So maybe the next thing is send Captain Xavier money and he'll make you a button if he thinks it's cool. Otherwise, forget it.
Send me a button idea written on a crisp $5 bill. Or on a sticky note stuck to a $5 bill. Let's not be defacing currency.
There you go.
I do have a stack of dollar bills where people have written in questions written on dollar bills somewhere.
Really?
Yeah.
As long as it's like, well, here's a question. Here's a question. Here's a stripper's phone number. Okay. Here's a question. Here's a.
Someone else just mailed me a stack of ones once. It was very strange.
Stack of ones.
Just a stack of ones. 100 ones.
Dude, maybe we should do that. We should do a top 100 things that people have mailed Captain Xavier.
That would be an interesting list, and we would have to go through and rewatch all of my fan mail for me to remember any of it.
No, you don't have to do that. Put it out there. So if you want a pin, go out and do some homework for us. Study the past fan mails and comprise a list of 100 things that people have mailed Captain Xavier. If you do that, he will make you a few special pins.
Hey,
thank you for the homework.
Don't be talking for me. You make them pins.
I will make the pins and I will send it to you because if you do the homework, that'd be a great show.
There are people out there who have watched all of my videos, they say, and
yes.
I find that baffling because I haven't even watched all of my videos. I skip a lot when I edit, which is how I occasionally let mistakes through.
But you live through it, so it's like, yeah, I've been there.
Survive.
That's right.
People bring it up, like, "Oh, you did this," and like, hooray! What do you want me to do about it? I can't edit the video once it's uploaded, and I'm not uploading it again just to fix this one flaw because I can't be bothered.
Just skip it. Watch something else. Oh, I got another one. So, from I don't even know when it started, but I've been sampling and trying different pistol holsters, and you get them on Amazon and stuff like that. So I got another one, and it arrived today. Let me just have a look at it. Also, ladies and gentlemen, for those following along at home, I think it's the same one that I have. Yeah, it's the same kind. Never mind. I surrendered one to Hickseh because they're cheap. But yeah, it's the realization that we all have many side pieces. And what happens, it's either in a bin, on a table, strewn across your floor. So yeah, man, these, and I think this one's a 6 one. so I'm avoiding the words that will get us in trouble. Put 6 of them on, and I think this one was only like $9 or $10. So it depends when it pops up. But for me, it's obviously great display at conventions to be able to show instead of just have them strewn out across the table. But then the realization, if you're in the hobby, odds are you have more than one, and something like this would actually make it easier and great. So yeah, this one showed up, and I have this one already, but it's one of the ones I like, so I will not complain.
I got something similar, only to discover that all of the blasters that I really want to display on a rack like that have holster mounts, and so they don't fit.
The search continues.
No justice in life. Yeah.
Well, we know people that 3D print and design. If you can design mounts that will accommodate holster mounts, so therefore you could have them lined up on display, that'd be great.
Yeah, the one I have in my arsenal over here, they're spaced wide enough that it's not a problem. And then the one I did find, I've got one that kind of works, and the reason it works is rather than being slots that the blasters are in, it's pegs that you slide the barrels down onto.
Oh, I like that.
And that gave it enough wiggle room to work with the holsters. So
I think it'd be great if these were also, instead of straight on, if they were just askew, because that way you get more.
Or if they made it arched so they were flared across the top, that would look neat.
See, there we go.
Very fancy museum style.
Well, it is, because let's face it, all the ones you have, you like them, and you kind of want to see them when you're looking at them, and not just in a pile or a bundle. And it makes it also reminds us of the things we actually have, because you sit there and you forget. I forgot I had one of those.
Yeah, I got mine. There was a 2-for-1 sale on full rifle racks, and then you got that for free, I think, as well. Or maybe I ordered it in addition to the 2-for-1. So all my loaner long arms are in nice collapsible racks.
See, that makes it
I need to go through and actually vet them all, because we discovered in our Portland event one of the things that we lack in our general ability to run a Nerf war is high-powered loaners.
Oh, yeah.
I've got Rival and I've got an endless supply of hammer shots, but my half dart blasters, I had some. I had 3 Venoms and 2 Strife X's and I think 5 Nexus Pros, but they're all tuned to 130 to 150 because Borst is 150. But the Portland event, the indoor is they lowered it to 130 because it's all indoors in close quarters. And I didn't have any good loaner blasters that were in the 100 to 130 range. Closest were the Rival blasters, and they all were borrowed and were used. But we had a lot of new people come to that event, which was cool, and that we had all these new people showing up and learning about the hobby and all of that. But they were showing up with like Elite 2.0 blasters and going up against people with 130 Griffins. That's not as much fun as you'd think. And, here, have 2 hammer shots. That'll even things out.
So I guess, because I know I took advantage when the sale happened in January. I got a bunch of Striker 2.0s for only $25 each. And even though they're $190, but we can always get the Dart Zone springs, the power down springs.
Yeah. And
I think that brings them down. Well, we might know somebody. We'll see when they go on sale, and just let us know how many you need.
Yeah, the guy who runs the Portland event reached out to me he was like, "Hey, would this be a good combination of loaner blasters?" And it was Villainators and Striker 2.0. So they're both pump action. They're both drum mag. So you don't have to deal with magazines. They're easy to use. You don't have to worry about people jamming them and all of that. And you're like, that's brilliant. I'm going to do that also. So you've got full length dart pump action, and as well as half dart full, drum fed pump action. I guess that is a good combo. And yeah, they're easily tunable. So I plan to try to get a bunch of those. So I wish they were $25 again. They might be somewhere. So yeah, the other thing I'd like to get is a bunch of Outlaws in the red Outlaws and blue Outlaws, because we do our team colors in red and blue, and so that would just be very fitting.
Same thing. I got a bunch of them when they were down to 25. They won't go under 25 or 28, but again, I'll keep an eye out, and we'll get you stocked.
Yeah. So I can tune all the Nexus Pros I have down that low easy enough just by getting the out of darts tuning cap probably. Nothing I can do about the Strife X's though. They're never going to hit under, or they'd be a lot more difficult. The Ultra 2 for $2. Yeah, you were overcharged.
We'll see.
Yeah.
What about? No, we'll see. Oh, we'll figure it out. For those following along at home, we should let you know we do have guests today. Today's guest, we do have one Ryan from Silver Fox Industries, and we also have Jeff Hickseh from Canada and the A-Team. They will be joining us very shortly. I think now is the game of let's see how uncomfortable they get while we keep them in the wings and we talk about other things and pretend like they're not here. But then we'd probably suffer consequences of that, so we can't do it only too long. But then that's kind of mean and stuff like that, and people don't want to come back on the show, and they start other rumors and things, and then people throw stuff at. Anyways, you get my point.
Yeah.
The good news is too, they were all at Survival Fest, so I figured we need the four of us. We'll go into a whole rundown of our experiences at Survival Fest, how it was, and again, it really was a very well run event. The amount of details and stuff like that, I think overall were fantastic. Turnout was good, so yeah, we will be getting into that as well.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get to Survival Fest, but there were always conflicts with the previous ones. So I was glad I finally got to this one, even if I was absolutely exhausted and borderline unfit to be on the field. But I survived, and so did everybody else. I only bit a couple of kids' heads off, but I was able to track them down and violently apologize to them.
Oh yeah, how was because of the four of us, because the three of us were in an Airbnb, and Kat, how was staying in the dorm? How'd you like that experience, and would you do it again?
It was actually really nice because almost all of the major final missions were in the courtyard of the dorm. So you just stagger back to your room and fall over, as opposed to having to lug your gear to a car, drive to wherever you are, walk in, no, it was really nice. It was also cheap. The only downside is there wasn't like a food court close by. There was a food court on campus, but it was on the other side of campus. There was a Buffalo Wild Wings within walking distance. There was a decent breakfast deli kind of place within walking distance. So it wasn't too bad. Definitely recommend. I mean, it's where I'll be staying. Any chance I get to stay on campus for an HVC that's on campus, I will take it. All the pizza places know how to deliver to the dorms, so
Go figure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. All right, I guess we've left them waiting long enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we have one Ryan of Silver Fox Industry and one Jeff Hickseh, as we all know, of the A-Team. Gentlemen, what's shaking, boys? How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey man, how you doing, hun?
Good. So I guess we should start with the intros, just in case people have no idea who you guys are, and it's a formal thing. So Ryan, you get to go first. Tell people who you are and what you do.
Damn it. I'm Ryan from Silver Fox Industries. I run, obviously Silver Fox Industries, and I'm recovering from a 4.5 day drive. So that was fun.
That'll do it. We'll get into that next soon. All right, Hickseh, you're up, buddy.
I'm Hickseh. I play on the A-Team. Other than that, I keep showing up in your videos and his videos. I don't know, just part of the hobby.
Good. Let's address something very quickly. Now, if we look at Hickseh, let's look at what he's wearing. I find it fitting, and I'm going to pick him on a little bit, but in his defense, the team that got the first hockey jerseys was loaded with Canadians anyways, but now they got the proper Canadian jerseys. Why? What's the big difference? So again, that is their official jerseys. It is a hockey jersey. Why is yours more of an official one than the Mega XXL jerseys?
Why is it a proper sweater? Because all of the patches are real patches and so on, as opposed to just part of the print.
Correct. So we were first, but then you got the first proper ones.
We got the first real ones.
You got the first real ones.
We're calling them sweaters.
There you go, you hockey person. Ours, we wanted to get them, but then we realized that it wouldn't have made it in time because we ordered late and we had to rush ship it. So we're like, all right, printed. Next time we'll do that. But Dude, you want to model it just a quick show off? Because I think they're well done. I think they look great. Ah,
Very nice. Very nice.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Yeah, do the thing.
it is, man. So yes, props out to you. So again, gentlemen, everyone was at Survival Fest. So again, let's go with Ryan. You get to go first again. Was this your first trip? Was this your first Survival Fest, or have you been to them before?
Yeah, it was my first Survival Fest. I made a point to go to it because it was on the Athens campus in Ohio. That was the first End War that I went to, and I loved the campus, so any excuse to go back there.
Gorgeous
And
campus.
It was. And you're also a sponsor, were you not?
Yeah. Scared was the main sponsor, but I guess we also sponsored Containment Crew and Silver Fox like separately.
How's that Scared 2 going, by the way?
Really, really well. Let me actually pull up the page because I'm not prepared.
I forgot about that, but yes, we're going to talk about that as well. Yeah, enter information now. Scared 2. And while he's looking that up, for those not following along at home, come on, man. This is landmark. This is what we always wanted to. Because what's the biggest problem, Cap, with before Scared gear about like playing in parks and fields?
All attack gear was either black or camo, and well, that alarms people. So
yeah, we're currently sitting at $31,671. The minimum goal was $25,000, so we're fully funded. We've got 9 days to go, and if we hit 35,000, we'll be making the tactical snactical pouch.
Nice.
So that's a thing. Go make it. Go get it made. Please help us.
Do the thing. Do the thing.
We need the snactical pouch.
Do you want to highlight
need
a couple
it.
of new pieces that you guys have added now for round 2?
Yeah, sure. How do I do that? Can I share my screen? I might be
I
able to
have
share.
no idea.
Man behind
Yeah,
the curtain will let us
There's
know.
a button for that and everything.
Yep, there is. Let me pull it up. I will just pull up different the different images.
Come on our show. Unprepared.
All right.
Unprofessional.
I know.
This movie.
What was great, actually, so if you're able to go to an event where they're set up and the Scared thing is set up, man, they have the full rainbow of so much of the gear available right there, and you get to try it on, you get to see it. And it really is exactly what you see online. It is well made, well stitched. It fits beautifully. The colors are vibrant, and they got a full-on display. I'm still impressed. The man flies with 4 suitcases that somehow puts a pretty large like booth together. I'm like, how do you do
That's
that? It must be like
impressive.
some kind of compression, or it's some kind of, you know what it is, man? I've seen movies. It's some kind of like magical suitcase that's like never ending, and it's got a bunch
They're
of crap
larger
in it
on the
somehow.
inside, yeah.
Yeah.
Harness
They
trunks.
are.
No,
TARDISes.
they're honestly Amazon Basics, the biggest suitcases that we could get, because they came in orange and blue, and then we just decided to try to fit everything to the suitcases instead of trying to fit the suitcases to everything else. Trying to pull up the actual images because the website was making it display weird. So give me just a moment.
How weird is that, man? The other advantage that Survival Fest, so the convention day was on Friday, and it was set up in the room in the hall like as a big circle. But they Scared as well as Containment Crew and Silver Fox, and then myself as well. We were given the opportunity to leave our booth set up for an extra day, which when you got to set up a booth and tear down, it is gold, man, because it's a lot of work. But at the same time, I feel like it works both ways. One, for us, you're not as tired or as broken, especially when you got to go do it. You're gonna actually nerf the next day. But at the same time, it gives people that opportunity because sometimes you see it in a day, you think, all right, I'm gonna get back to it. Maybe I want it, maybe I don't want it. And how many times we're packed up and cleaned up, and it's like, man, I should have bought it. By the next day, I felt like you got a lot of people that sat there. You know what? I'm glad you're still here because I was thinking about it and they got it. And so that I really appreciate from a vendor's perspective. Because again, if you want us to like keep sponsoring stuff, it helps if we make some money. Because if we're not making any money, we don't have money to sponsor things. It's kind of a natural relationship. I am not a trust fund baby. I work like a horse, and this tan is not because I was at the beach working outside. All freaking everyone's got outside work for me this year, and I'm probably gonna die from skin cancer. In the meantime, I'm gonna have fun. So yeah,
Sunscreen, Al. Wear the sunscreen.
I did,
right.
and it
I've got
killed
it
my
ready.
eyes today. All right, here we go.
Oh, it's the worst.
Okay. So. Yep. Sure thing.
Everyone bear with us. The man behind the curtain has been thrown a curveball. He's got it.
Cool.
He's figured it out.
All right. So
He does.
the stuff that we've already unlocked in the Kickstarter, like the base gear, is, I'll start with the smallest thing first. It's just a Molly patch panel. Comes in a bunch of different colors, obviously, but it's just a Velcro panel, or sorry, hook and loop, that fills blank space for your gear. So you can put patches, whatever you want. Even if it's just you have like black gear that you want to make more colorful, if it's got a bunch of Molly on it, you can, cover it with colored squares. The next one is a foldable dump pouch.
Nice.
It's basically just your standard dump pouch, but it's a little bit more like lightweight, and you can fold it up to keep it compact. So if you don't actually need it, yeah, we had fun with that. And obviously all these pieces of artwork were done by Hotcoin, if you couldn't tell by the style. Yeah, so thank you for taking that commission on, dude.
They're really well done. I've always loved his designs. I love the fact that some of them have started to become a reality.
Yeah. And then so we also have a sling. So it's a modular type of deal where it's going to come with 3 of these
Nice
clips, so that you can leave them attached to your blaster, or you can alternatively, you see up like in the midway point, I don't know if you can see my cursor.
Can I already make the request that you make available all of the clips in more and more?
Well, each one comes with 3, so I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, I mean after the fact. As long as just carry the clips.
Oh, maybe we might be able to do that. We might be able to get the manufacturer to just let us order extras of those, and
please.
not, include them. But like midway through the sling on both sides of it, both sides of the loop, it has the same clips, so you can undo it and then clip the little clasps into the midway point, so you can clip it onto your gear itself instead of wearing it like a sling over the shoulder.
Yeah, so a regular blaster mounted one rather than a single point. Gotcha.
Right. And then the big one that we're doing is, we're calling it the Symbiote. It's a chest rig. If you kind of see the scale of it, it's actually pretty compact on the front. We wanted to make a smaller thing than the bandolier. It's it's going to be a bit more snug on you than your standard like chest rig, but we decided to go with that route just because you can fully adjust it to whatever size you need it to be. Both panels on it, the front and the back, will have the female side of the buckles. So the straps themselves will have the male, so you can completely remove the strap and like replace the the webbing if you need something like much longer or if you need to modify it to be much shorter, so it can fit literally any size that you need it to. The front panel removes entirely, and it's just held on with a big panel of hook and loop, so you can swap that like in an instant. So you can have like a loadout already set up on a separate panel. So like mission 1, you're limited to, like at Maryland, you're limited with your ammo choices or capacity, but then you unlock, you know, higher capacity later on. You can just go back to your vehicle or your camp, rip the panel off, put on the new one that has your mag holders, and you're good to go.
Wait, or
You said
your dorm room.
no, even better. That
Dorm room,
panel's
dorm room.
small enough that you could totally just have it stuck to your backpack and just swap them right then and there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does it come with 2 panels, or will you be selling the panels separately, or?
So one of the stretch goals is additional panels. We are hoping that you know gets unlocked. We're hoping for a big push towards the end of the Kickstarter. Where's the stretch goals? There we go. So 35,000 is the Snacktical pouch. 40,000 is the additional panels. So we're hoping that we can at least get a push, because last time we had a pretty decent push at the end of people.
Yeah. I want that
backing at
H
the last
harness,
second.
man. That's what I want.
really
the
want
most.
that H harness too.
Yeah, I might just
Yeah.
have to make my own one. Make one myself. I know
Yeah.
how. I've got a sewing machine.
Yeah, but that takes time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Naps are so much better.
But that's where we're at with it. Hold on, let me bring up the actual, like the bigger. That is the wrong folder. Is it?
Oh, it's a good thing this isn't live.
Put
There we
your
go.
spank bank away.
No, there's just the folder with all the image files in it. That's fine. So the Snacktical pouch, the next stretch goal, it's a insulated pouch that's larger than the phone pouch that we have. It's deeper. It's I don't have a physical copy of it yet, but we're getting samples made.
Nice.
But it's it should be big enough to at least fit like a water bottle or 2 maybe, or snacks, whatever you need. And if it's cold, then it should at least stay colder than normal, just sitting out in the sun. Because, you know, staying hydrated is much nicer when you're drinking colder
Cool water.
beverages.
Yeah.
Now, how big of a what does it actually hold?
So we joked about the scale of it holding like 2 or 3 cans of like Mountain Dew. I didn't want to put that in the image because, you know, I didn't want Mountain Dew coming after us.
Also fair, like nice.
But yeah, no,
Would
it
it
should
fit like a full bottle of water?
Yeah, it should fit at least like, for reference, maybe like one of the smaller Dasani ones. Hold on.
I was about to describe them in their metric sizing, but I realized that would be a moot point at this point.
Yeah, so I'm trying to make it so it's like it'll hold at least like the 20 ounce. Yeah, something like that. The Powerade.
Yeah, so
That would be
500 mil.
awesome.
Yeah,
500 mil.
I'm hoping it'll fit that. Obviously,
Perfect.
I can just change the dimensions if it doesn't, but you know, that's what samples are for.
Yeah.
Yay! Dude, this is awesome, man. Again, after the first run, and you see it, people buy it and they use it all over the place. And I love the fact that it's just, you got people intermixing colors. Like I saw one with, it's almost like they felt like being a rainbow, where there was like a yellow belt, they had orange pouches, blue pouches on the front, something else like that. You can color coordinate it to however you want to do it. There's no right or wrong. That's the best part. Like for me with my white belt, someone was bugging me and said, "Are you a stormtrooper?" Just because I got the bigger black dump pouch on it and stuff like that. But I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will now go with the whole stormtrooper theme with it, just because you can. It's
Or
fun.
you go white and blue in your R2D2.
Yeah.
There we go. See what I
No,
mean?
we tried to pick colors when we were doing the original one that were inclusive enough for that anybody could, match it to their loadout.
Yep.
Because everybody's got their own personal colors that they like to run. And so we tried to make the biggest amount of, or like the widest color array that we could, while still being reasonable.
Yeah. You got all the important
8
ones.
colors is
Orange.
a lot. Yeah. Orange,
and
blue,
red and yellow.
Yeah.
Blue, green.
I really
And
wanted to do
white
like
goes
an
with everything,
actual
so.
like yellow, but
Yes, please.
yeah. But we ended
I
up
get
settling on the generic neon because it was the closest to like safety gear that we could get.
Yep. No, I get why. You can't
And
have
then-
every color in the rainbow, so.
When we were asking people for like color choices, they were picking the neon over the yellow. Like,
I could only say how many colors so many times where you figure it out. How many times has Al answered this question? This doesn't seem fair.
Rig the boat.
I tell you. All right. So again, Scared, the Kickstarter, make sure to go over and support it if you can. Trust me, it's good stuff. Like, look at us. It's not like it's so one thing to clarify too, it's not like this is free stuff. We all paid for it. It's not like we're sitting there, well, of course we're going to say we like it because you gave it to us. No, because he, like me, and like a bunch of us, we're small businesses. What does that mean? We work a lot and we don't have extra money running around. So yeah, I paid for it, and every penny is worth it. It's great stuff. It's great gear. If you'd rather see it in person, when you get the opportunity or chance, especially the Pacific Northwest. Now, wait, Ryan, are you going to be at RAG this year? I can't remember before I commit to that.
Yeah, I'll be at Ragnarok. I can't make it to End War, obviously. That's a little close. And we kind of front-loaded a lot of our events this year.
And we don't have private jets to fly us around the country whenever we want. But even if you miss the Kickstarter here, you'd want to see it in person. The thing is, they try to get out to events where you actually see it in person. Odds are you'll probably show up to a local event, and I'm going to guarantee there's going to be at least one person, if not many, at your local events that probably have the gear. And you know how our community is. Everyone's very friendly and appreciative. You can probably ask them their opinion and how it looks like. I get the whole you want to see it first before you commit to it. I totally get it. But at the same time, I am happily put my name behind this and say, this is great stuff. It is worth every penny, and you will like it. So we'll leave it at that. But if you want to commit to it, remember, by supporting the Kickstarter now, this is how you get free stuff later. You don't want to be in the position where it's like, I should have put my money now because now I want it later, but now I'm missing out on stuff. And why is it Al only had to pay $180 and I'm paying $250 because I waited?
I
Don't
should have
wait.
clicked that pew view option when I had the chance.
See what I mean? Thank you, Hickseh. All right. Survival Fest. So Survival Fest this past weekend happened, 2 weekends ago in Athens, Georgia. This is the second one I've been to. Of everyone here, Hicksey's been to all three. Cap finally made it out to one, and Ryan finally made it out to one. And it started out, we got in, many of us showed up in on Thursday, and we ended up at the Buffalo Wild Wings because it was the only place with the kitchen open. Although Hickseh and I did end up in a bar, and it would have been fun to stick around and watch because there's a bunch of kids trying to do wrestling moves where I almost tried to show them how to do a figure four, but the place smelled like pee and I was hungry, so we left.
Yeah.
But it would have been entertaining to say the least. But yeah, the adventure started on Thursday. Myself, Hickseh, Silver Fox, and a few others actually. We were all actually in an Airbnb about 10 to 12 minutes off campus, which was great because it was a huge piece of property, which means we were able to be loud and not worry about neighbors complaining to us. Also, there may have been an incident where someone may have brought the mammoth and was testing the whole artillery capacity of that thing, and the property was large enough that we had the room, man. And I love the fact that when it comes down, you can hear the whistle.
It's the two-tone. You hear it whistle on the way up. As it hits the arc, it slows down just a bit, and then it just starts screaming on the way back down. The darts don't whistle at that point. They scream for their lives.
Yeah, that was way too entertaining.
And then trying to actually catch them on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Yeah, so we were actually playing almost like a version of 500, where it's like try to catch the dart, which, who knows, at HVZ events, Yeah, we're always looking for things. It might be a way to introduce Mammoth into like play without shooting people with them, where it uses artillery pieces. First team to catch X amount of darts at this range, you complete the objective. It'd be fun, and we're all. And anyways, we can work on that. But part of what happened with this event is that one Hickseh had made me a Protean with a new front end on it. And as a result of it, there was a whole plan where he was going to make one for our buddy Jim. You'll see him in his Ludus games when he shows up in the chat. And in the adventure, it was the trying to get as many parts together. And then there may have been someone in this chat that decided to throw a slight wrench into it just for entertainment purposes. I don't know which one of you want to start.
Could have been anybody. I'll fess up to my crimes.
No. I'm gonna take the foot on this because it really does have to start from like my morning and like for once actually having my stuff together and like getting my I had the whole car packed, and as someone who's neurodivergent, the fact that I was ready to go like for 6:45 in the morning so that I could get ahead of the Toronto traffic. Yeah, I was super good. And then I got just to the far side of the city and had that moment of, where did I put that box of parts? And I pulled over at the next off ramp, and I opened the back of my car and just silently swore and got back in the car and turned around. So this was an hour into my drive. If anyone here has ever been to Toronto, you'll understand that Toronto is an hour away from Toronto. So at rush hour, it took me an hour and a half to do what had taken me an hour while stopping for coffee on the way out. So I'd gone back and gotten this box, and then I started driving, and I'm guessing I was just over the border when someone decided to start having some fun.
Who did that? Who said what?
Who did that?
Could have been anybody. So
Anybody.
I was the mule for these two mooks, bringing them stuff from out of darts, because shipping to the other side of the country is not cheap. Shipping to Canada is not cheap, and we were all going to be at the same event, and I can literally go down and pick this stuff up. In fact, Out of Darts brought the stuff to the Portland event, so there was no shipping involved. So I had both. Well, first I got Jeff's package. That one came to the Portland event, and I picked it up. I didn't realize that Al also had a package that was sent. That one didn't get picked up at Portland, but Luchathor, who now works for Out of Darts, met me halfway. We got dinner. He brought the stuff. So I had both packages, and I ended up putting them in my carry-on rather than my checked luggage, because my checked luggage was just at the limit of being too heavy. So in my checked luggage, I had all my blasters and everything that might alarm TSA. And in my carry-on, I had the lipos, because you have to have lipos in your carry-on, which is wild. And then 2 bags of random electronic components.
What could possibly go wrong?
It got flagged by TSA. They took my bag aside and like, so what do you got going here? Like, well, there's a bag of lipos, and then they're like, yeah, well, what about the components? And I was like, and I had forgotten I'd even put them in there. And I was like, oh no. Because here we have a bag full of lipo batteries and a whole bunch of random motors and solenoids and wires and springs and bits. And you're like, this could be a problem. They might, I've already checked my bag. I can't now go put it in my checked bag. This, oh dear. And they like looked in the lipo bag. Yeah, it's lipos. Rifled through my underwear. Never even got to where the bag of components were. They're just like, yeah, you're fine. Here you go. And I was like, oh, sweet Jesus. Okay, I must take this energy. I have to go throw it at someone else. So I pinged the group chat with Al and Jeff and went, your parts got flagged by TSA. They objected to the lipos and the loose components. And Al goes, like, did they take them? I'm like, sorry, we're taking off, gotta go. So at no point did I actually say they'd been confiscated. There was a distinct amount of plausible deniability. but it was very, very heavily implied. I didn't know that I thought they were just ordering these parts to have these parts. I didn't know they'd specifically order these so they could build a blaster at the event.
I literally told you in that same chat why we were doing it.
Yeah, you can put whatever you want in the chat. Ain't nobody gonna read it.
The ensuing conversation after that.
The fact that he says it does not mean I was aware of it. Had I known, I would have, made the joke and then told him, no, it went through, it's fine. But I didn't know that they actually needed those parts.
The story is so much better that you didn't know.
It is, because yes. What happened after I got on the plane, Jeff?
I can't remember if I'd actually made it to Ohio at that point or if I was somewhere in the ether between Buffalo and the Ohio border in that weird part of PA that cuts up when I got this. So I call Al because yelling at my car to send text messages was just, as therapeutic as it was for me, it just was taking far too much time to convey the message. So we're on the phone, we're talking. It's like, you see the message, and I'm like, why the heck do you think I'm calling you, Al? And we're sitting there, we're like, do you think he's screwing with us?
You called it first because you said he must be messing with us. I'm like, there's no way he's messing with us. We gotta pivot because this is a mess.
Yeah, just like he's got to be screwing with us. And then you're like, yeah. Would he really screw with us about something like this? And I'm like, no, we told him what it was for. Like, this isn't something to screw around with. And you're like, right. Oh, what are we gonna do? And I'm like, I don't know. Let me think about it. I'll call you later. So hang up the phone. Driving, my brain is now going a mile a minute, and I'm in the middle of nowhere. And all I want to do at that point is pull over and just immediately hop on the internet and start ordering stuff to the Airbnb because Amazon will do that. But I have this brainwave of who do I know who lives in Ohio who's going to be showing up I have a buff. So I call Buff Daddy and tell him what happened. And I'm like, look, I need a solenoid. Is the big one. Charles is bringing the parts. I'm sure we can find a piece of K25. The rest of the hardware we can get from Home Depot, and I need some plunger tube. And he's like, well, I don't have any plunger tube, and I don't have a Noid, but let me see what I can do. So back and forth phone calls are made on various apps while it was trying to navigate in a retrofitted Apple CarPlay. It was all kinds of fun. While I'm bombing down the highway, and within about an hour or so, I call Al back to let him know we've sourced a plunger tube. We just have to find a Noid, but I'm sure someone will have one.
It's a Nerf event. So, someone's got to have one.
So within an hour, I'd gone from I literally turned around to get these stupid parts for this stupid build that I stupidly decided I was going to do for Al's stupid friend who's a member of my stupid club, and I stupidly like him. Then he stupidly told me about the stupid magic cards that he was selling to fund his trip, and I wanted to do something stupidly nice for him.
I'm sensing
Suddenly it was like, okay. I called Buff. Buff called that. We started to figure things out. I was like, okay, we just got to find a Noid. So fast forward a couple of hours, we get in. We're hanging out, setting up booths for SCRD and Containment Crew and Al. And
for the record, someone who started this is probably already on his second bag of peanuts, gone to the bathroom, and debating if he's having a nap or not on the airplane. Allegedly.
Yeah, I don't remember what movie I watched on the plane, but I was completely relaxed.
To the point where I had messaged to find out where the heck he was so we could start grilling him on these questions. And he told me to calm myself, that they were a half hour out. And then about 2.5 hours later, they finally showed up at the Wild Wing.
Yep. Show up at the Wild Wings. It's like 5 minutes before close. We order some food to go, and he go, oh, by the way, I got your parts. And I thought Hicks was just going to knife me.
I was ready to go across the table. I would have Superman right over that. It would have been a scene out of a movie. All you would have seen is just 4 feet into the air as I went over the table in India.
I mean, it got to the point where like a lot of us were like trying to convince people who were selling blasters that had one of those solenoids in it to rip rip the solenoid out to donate to this project. And we almost had Alex.
We did. No. He was going to do it. No problem.
He committed.
That's why I love this community. Yes. It was just like, I got this blaster that, it was a prototype. I'm not really doing anything with it. I'll pull the noid out of it. And I was like, you are like a godsend of a human being. Wait for the morning when we come back and I'll let you know what I need. And he was like, all right, cool. Fast forward to the schmuck showing up and telling me he's got my stuff. And everything is great. But that was not the end of the Xavier screw with Hickseh shenanigans for the weekend.
Giving Jeff's grief. Because at Maryland Mayhem, I had lost a bag of
Completely inadvertent, though. This is the best part of it.
This one was completely an accident. The other one was me being a schmuck.
Mr. Magoo, like no bad intention at any point whatsoever. Has no idea the consequences of his actions.
Yeah. But so meanwhile, Maryland Mayhem, I left a bag of lipos. I think I left them on the roof of my car as we were leaving, and they fell off. Anyway, they managed. Somehow they didn't get destroyed. They ended up in Lost and Found. I got a hold of them. They're bringing it to Survival Fest. All's well and good. So I get to Survival Fest. They bring me my lipos. Fabulous. I put them in my bag of stuff and ended up going back to my dorm room, tossing it there, and forgetting about it. Later I think it was that day or the next day or one of the other events.
Next day.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, Saturday.
Saturday you bagged them, and Sunday at the events, yeah.
Yeah, so I go back to the main room looking for a water bottle that Andrew had left, but Andrew had already grabbed his water bottle. But I see the bag of lipos, and I'm like, I could have sworn I grabbed them. It was the same looking bag. It was in the same location. I open it up and I look, and I kid you not, it had the same two 3S 850 lipos that I use for my small blasters. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. So I grab it and take it back to my room. Well, it turns out it was Hickseh's lipo bag, and his lipos have now disappeared. And I'm packing up, like on the last day, I'm putting everything in, and I got my big lipo bag. It's got the small lipo bag in it. Okay, we're good. I'm taking all the stuff out of my loot bag from the event, and there's a lipo bag in it. And I'm just like, oh no, I've stolen a lipo bag that someone is probably desperately looking for. So I sent a picture to Al going, hey, you know anyone missing a lipo bag? And he's like, Jeff's gonna murder you in your sleep.
Yeah, meanwhile, cut back to the Airbnb and Hicksey's tearing the place apart. Like, I'm literally looking under cushions, looking out on the deck.
What started as I was going through everything looking for the lipo bag turned into the day before I needed something from my car on the way in. And so I had to grab my keys as we were going into town, and I'm hopping out into Al's truck, and I have a spare pair of shoes there. And I go, hey, Al, I'm going to put my spare key in the shoes so that I don't forget it. And when I eventually forget it, you're going to tell me that's in the shoes. That's why I'm making a point of putting it in my shoe, right? And he's like, yeah, okay, yeah. So Tim's, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm navigating to Tim's. We're doing it. So... Fast forward to the next morning, I now can't, not only can I not find my lipo bag, I can't find my car key. Nope. I'm tearing the place apart in what I can only describe as a full-fledged neurodivergent meltdown.
Yes.
Until
also,
eventually...
Because Sunday morning, Jeff was the only one that was still kind of alive and wanted to go in. The rest of us were tired and like, we're going to breakfast. Am I the only one going in and I can't find anything? Yes.
You're the only one left alive.
Yeah.
It was the only human left.
So at that point, because his key was gone, now the batteries were second thoughts. Like, screw the batteries. I need car keys. And after we've literally, I think, Silver Fox. So Ryan was upstairs in charge of flipping upstairs. We were flipping downstairs. And at that point, I'm like, screw it. Hey, Hickseh, man, just check my truck. You never know. And so from my perspective, I see him march out of the car as I unlock it. And I see him come back in. And when he comes back in, he is laughing. And that's when I'm instantly like, no one's going to die. This should be good. What do you got, buddy? What happened? And that's when Hickseh comes in and he's laughing. He goes, "It was in the effing shoe. I have my car keys." And then just proceeded to lie down under the pool table, laugh for a good 2 minutes, and then just breathed.
Hey Al, remember what I said? I'm putting my key in my shoe so that when I inevitably forget what I did with my key. Yeah, sure, Hickseh. No problem.
Yeah, man. I remember that. I said, "Hey, by the way, brain tumor. And I'm old. I forget stuff."
Now we know what parts they cut out.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, so at that point, it's like, all right, I lost the batteries. Screw it. At least I got my car. So then now fast forward to Sunday when that text comes in, because I think Ryan was sitting beside me when I read it out loud. Yeah, Hickseh. There was expletive, mother, expletive. This whole weekend he's screwing with me. Expletive. But the text was perfect timing. We had just ordered pizza. We were out of delivery range, and so we were going to go pick it up anyways. Literally, we ordered pizza, and then you texted, "Hey, who's this belong to?"
Yeah, so we had to like detour to go to the campus, and then we ended up chatting with you in your room for like 20 minutes or something like that. We're like, "Oh, we have to go pick up pizza. That's probably getting cold. It's fine. It's still at the shop. Whatever.
It's pizza." But I think at one
And
point, I
then
look at
for
you,
the
I
rest
said,
of the time
"We
that
should
we
get it
were
before it
there,
closes."
everyone was asking Hickseh if he had been checking his shoe. Any time anybody like asked if they could see something or find something, we're like, "Hey Hicks, did you
check
your shoe? You check your shoe, buddy?"
Yeah, that one's not going away anytime soon.
Dude, when you're a neurodivergent individual, you find the dumbest things to put things in, thinking it's a safe space.
Oh yeah.
And I learned a long time ago that if I do something ridiculous, like point out, "Hey, I'm putting my keys in my shoe," someone else will remember that because
yeah.
We need to put a young person in the car that knows everything.
3 or 4 years tearing this shop apart, looking for the large Nickelodeon foam brain that I'd bought. That I knew I had. Someone had sent it to me. It was super cool, and they're stupidly expensive if you try to find them online. I could not find it. I checked every bin, every box, everywhere. Had no memory of where I'd put it. I ended up, over the years, due to the grief of the loss, buying 3 more when they were found, when I could find them cheap on eBay, just to replace that hole that the one had left. And then somebody on my live stream asked me if I could show them the X-Shot shotguns that I'd modded years ago, that are on the very top of my right there. And what had happened is, since it was a brain, I'd put it with all of the HVZ bandanas. It had then fallen off the top shelf and was resting on top of the shotgun in such a way that you absolutely could not see it. I pull the shotgun down, brain falls in my hands. I nearly had an aneurysm. So I'm familiar with things just going poof.
So for those following along at home, that was the underlying story that was happening during. All right, which one of you wants to go first? A synopsis of the weekend, your experiences, and how you liked it. Remember, there's 4 of us, so don't go on forever. But who wants to go first? Ryan?
Yeah, I think it's Ryan's turn.
No.
Well, I died first, so I should go first.
Let's go from Al's perspective.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, fine.
Taylor can go first. That's a good one to claim.
Me and Andrew flew in. We got picked up by a member of the auxiliary, driven down, gave Hickseh a heart attack, earned his unending ire. That was lovely. Did mission 0. Mission 0 was a lot. Well, did the con. That was fun. Bought some stuff. I got set up by one guy. He made a blaster in my colors, made it left-handed, and then just had it sitting there as I happened to walk by. The Fiend. It's lovely. It's delightful. You'll get to see it on the channel eventually. I'm not going to show it off now because we'll get the channel shut down.
Again,
I got to vote on the blaster build competition. That was really cool. There was some really cool stuff, some really neat entries. Then Mission 0 made it to the final stand, died because the one super zombie killing blaster I brought jammed and failed and got me killed. And I'd called it. I'd called it. That thing's going to get me killed. And I said tomorrow it's probably going to get me killed again. And it did. I died in Mission 1 because a super zombie rushed me. I pulled my blaster, pulled the trigger. It failed, and the guy who was supposed to be covering me had run away. So I died because my blaster failed, and I trusted someone I shouldn't have, which is what'll get you killed in HVZ. So I then was a zombie for the rest of the weekend and had almost no fun. I don't make a good zombie. At one point, Hickseh here shot me in the eye, which hit my eyebrow so hard it actually made my eye hurt and just ruined my whole afternoon. And I'm going, no, I had that coming.
I'm sorry. I did not know that.
Oh, yeah, no.
I remember seeing you in one rush, and then I didn't see you again. And I asked at one point, I think it was Rocket. I was like, where the heck's Chalo? And he was like, he's tapped. You know, I went, okay, we'll see him later.
Yeah. I had a tank.
I'm sorry, dude.
So, I mean, it hurt, but it didn't even count as a tag. And he's like, no. Great. And it was my good eye, too. So now the world is just a blur. And I look over, and there's Hickseh waving at me, and I'm like, no, I had that coming. That's fair. And this was before I'd even stolen his lipo bag. So, I mean, if it had been after, it probably would have had a thumbtack on it. And I still would have been, darts stuck in my forehead going, yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah. But it was really well run. I got taken out, like I said, in Mission 1. We got hit by a squad of nothing but super zombies. Because Mission 1s are supposed to be nasty. That's how they build the horde. And I was not prepared enough for that many super zombies. So I don't blame the mods. It wasn't bad writing. It was just I wasn't prepared enough and my blaster failed and I got abandoned. But we went down doing a rear guard action so that a group of humans could complete an objective, which they did. So I have no beef with how I went down, but I make a lousy zombie. I'm old, I'm slow, my knees are bad. And I'm a conspicuous target on a good day because everyone wants to shoot Captain Xavier in the head, which is fair. Again, I got a target on my chest and everything. But it was a really well done game. I liked the storyline they had, the way the missions actually tied into the story, the way various things worked out. It was a lot of fun. Who was the next person to die? Al, were you dead next?
Yeah, because I was with that group and I died like 15 minutes later. Because the same thing, the blaster I had, Hickseh made it for me. It was great. And at that point, it didn't fail. It's because some dummy, am I pointing fingers? Yes. If some dummy may have left it on and killed the battery, but we were running late, so I went for a secondary. So as a result, I had nothing for the super zombies, where I think we had what? Now I'm going to exaggerate. We had 74 zombies at us, and I think one was a regular zombie, and everyone was super zombie. And it's like, I don't know why I'm carrying a blaster. This is pointless because nothing works anyways. Yeah, I died like 15 minutes after you did. I got 3 of the 4. The 4th one got me. It's like, man, that fucking... Anyways, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, with this hip, playing zombie, I got so close, but you can only limp so fast. And surprisingly, I caught people by surprise where I almost had them. But my best experience as a zombie was there was one guy. Remember that big dude that was really chasing us and got us, but he was incredibly agile for as large as he was, the zombie guy in that group. Anyways, there was a little girl that was with him, and that was his niece. And so when they were doing it, I think she wanted to go do off her own thing, didn't trust her uncle. So then we came to a whole discussion in terms of explaining the advantages of being small, fast, and if you just listen to us, you were going to be incredibly deadly, and you're going to have so much fun. But again, at 11 and she's a little willful, she had her doubts, so that laid it pretty simple.
And she got me.
See what I mean? And she got Josh. She told me I'll tell you that anyway. But the best thing about her was I said, this is how simple it is. Everything I just told you, listen to your uncle, listen to what I say. If you do what I say, you come back to the booth after and you will go home with at least a sticker. If your uncle says you're doing a lot better than that, you'll probably go home with more things like that. The better you do, the more you listen, the more loot you go home with. However, if you do not do any of that, guess what you go home with? Nothing? Correct. Do we have an understanding? Yes, perfect. Go had fun. And especially later when she was a tank. And then she started realizing when I put a tank jersey on, I said, no, just follow behind me. And when I go down, then you jump out after me. And the kid had a blast. Anyways, got back to the booth, came up. I looked at her. I said, did you listen? I did. I looked at her uncles. Yeah, he did. Perfect. Sticker, pin, keychain. Do you want some of this? Do you want some of this? And again, I'm pretty easy. If you ask me for stuff, I will give you nothing. Just be a good kid and have fun, and I'll send you home with everything. Needless to say, she went with about 5 things of all the little stupid merch things I have, and then I gave her a T-shirt, and then I had a pink revolver and sent her home with that. Next day, saw her. I think she had 9 tags. She got Hickseh, she got Josh, and at the end of it all, when we were dart sweeping, she came over to make a point to talk to me and just tell me about all the fun she had, what she did, and it's like, you just made the kids' weekend. And whoever tagged me, I forgot to give them the brain, and they never asked for it. So you know what? I said, kid, you get to keep the brain, man. And away you went. And see that right there, that's what made the weekend for me. Never mind all the other fun things, but that was like the big thing for me.
I think I'm the one who died next.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Boomstick and I went down together. We split off in, what was it, mission?
I went around to flank in mission 2. I think it was mission 2. It was the end of the day.
Yeah, mission 2.
When we were dealing with the turrets.
Yep.
I literally looked at you two and said, okay, I'm gonna work my way around with this group of people. We'll try and find you guys in the center. Just keep them occupied long enough and don't die. And as we worked our way around, I come up the stairs and what do I see?
We're dead. Yeah. So we went through the courtyard and like that main courtyard where all the dorms were. And we were trying to... You're
good.
Okay, there we go.
Froze a second.
Yeah. My group was basically bashing their heads against the wall of turrets and zombies that were guarding the courtyard. And Boomstick and I were like, those turrets can't move. They have really crappy mega blasters and very limited ammo reserves. Why don't we just outrange them and go around? So we just went around the whole edge of the courtyard, outranged all the turrets. I feel like a few of them were kind of disappointed because they just watched us walk by and they're like, we literally can't do anything. Like, what the heck? And then so we're at the final section of turrets. There's only 2 of them. One of them was almost out of ammo, and then the other one only had 3 or 4 darts in it because they had magazines and we could see it and everything. It was just okay, they have nothing at their feet. We're just gonna sit here, dodge the darts as best as we can because they were positioned near a corner with a staircase. And so we were sitting there. They were pacing their shots to try to, extend the amount of ammo that they had. We were dodging them pretty easily, and we were just okay, cool. We're basically past them. Let's just go. And as we start moving further past the staircase, there's a bush right next to it. And probably the most patient zombie that I've ever met just stands up, walks over, and just goes, you guys
Bush
dead now?
Zombied.
Yeah, we got bush zombied. It's
Oh.
Yeah.
He didn't show himself at all until that very moment. When we entered the courtyard, the whole courtyard was just empty. So he was there from the beginning of setup, just sitting on the ground or crouched or whatever, just waiting for somebody to sneak by. And yeah, we totally fell for his trap. It was pretty good way to go, though. But yeah, we were just oh, we'll just go and start the objective at the end because we knew there was going to be some kind of timed summoning ritual or something that we were going to have to do to sit there and defend it, or it was just going to take a while. Sure enough, yeah, seems like that was the case, but
it wasn't originally. It was something that one of the mods improv'd at the last second. Because each turret, or a couple of the turrets, were defending keys. And if you took out the turret, you could then take the key. And if you got all the keys, you could then go unlock the cage and rescue the person. Well, it became very obvious that the humans were not going to get all of the keys. And some of the humans had gone to where the cage was. There were no, as far as I know, there were no zombies there because we weren't bothering to guard the cage because we knew you didn't have the keys.
No,
but one of those humans had a lockpick set and asked the mod, can I just pick the locks? And the mod said, yes, but it's going to take you 7 minutes per lock. There were 5 locks. It's going to take you 45 minutes. So it turned into a 45-minute hold mission. But the zombies never knew about it. And while I think that's really cool and really nifty, I don't know if they've really considered the implications of allowing people to bring tools from outside of the game to circumvent any game mechanic.
Yeah.
Imagine briefings from now on where they're going to go, I've got lockpicks, I brought bolt cutters, I brought rope, I brought a padlock, they've now said you can do that.
I think
I love it and hate it at the same time.
Burgle the campus.
Yeah.
Well,
the other thing that I didn't like about it was that if the humans had failed, the zombies got a perk. And so we got to set up the turrets wherever we wanted them. We were told, okay, here's how the turrets work. We're going to defend the turrets. If we successfully defend the turrets, we get a special super zombie. And then the humans were allowed to just circumvent that mechanic without us having any way to really deal with it. That kind of allowing them to do that was a really cool concept if this was a PvE game. But this is a PvP game.
Yeah.
The humans aren't, and the zombies aren't NPCs. So giving them a way to circumvent the mechanic that we were given that would allow us to get a perk if we succeeded. We succeeded in our mission. We prevented the humans from getting the key, but we didn't get the perk. And so
that just doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good, but at the same time, the humans ended up getting slaughtered anyway. But if they hadn't, and what shenanigans are they going to allow next time? And what ones are they going to decide not to allow?
Yeah.
So I'm salty about it because I was one of the turrets and we defended that last key, goddammit, and it felt good, and then it didn't matter, and I'm a grumpy old man.
Fair.
I mean, the turrets are a really cool mechanic.
It was a really neat mechanic for the zombies to have. The problem, the other thing that I kind of don't feel bad about the humans being allowed to do that was the humans were not given the correct information on how to take out the turrets.
Yeah.
There was a lot
of that doesn't feel good. We were told they had to put at least it was 15 darts or 6 mega darts or 3 mega XL darts or a combination that added up to 15. A mega dart being 5, a mega dart being 2.5 because why not? But the humans were told they only had to get 1. And so, them getting all screwed up because of that, where bad things happened because they didn't have the right information. Yeah, giving them another way out. Okay, I can live with it. But it does lead okay, well, what shenanigans am I going to bring? I kind of want to bring bolt cutters now. There's a padlock? Click. Nope.
I will say we didn't hear about the whole lockpick thing until after we as the humans had decided to bug out, at least on our end of the field. And I can confirm there were no zombies down there because we had found that because 2 of our, we'd literally sent a squad of people to the left as we were coming up those back stairs to just make sure there's no zombies. And then we find out, that's the objective. We weren't supposed to find that. No one anticipated us walking all the way around the buildings to come in from the backside with the stairs that were at the end of that courtyard.
Yeah.
No one had anticipated it. No one really thought of it. And
if we had known that they were that it was just turned into a 45-minute hold, we might have been able to attack them and prevent them from picking all the locks. But if we'd done that, if we'd pulled zombies away from the courtyard to stop that, you probably would have been able to take out all the turrets and get the keys and unlock it anyway. So I don't think it actually really affected the outcome of that mission. But it still feels like they're asking for a lot of really annoying questions in all future mission briefings.
Yeah. And I mean, in the end, I didn't know that you guys would have gotten an extra special zombie from the humans losing, which makes me go, well, you completed your mission by making us fail ours because, well, the turrets were tough. they ended up being really tough, especially with all it took was a couple good zombies. And like I said, I came up the stairs, and all of a sudden there's a silver fox and a boomstick with their headband, armbands now headbands, and I just went, I just told you not to die.
What did I tell you about not dying?
Not even 15 minutes.
It was not even 10 minutes. And literally at the time, it took me to walk around those buildings and come up the far side. Is like, gee, come on.
I will say, though, that Boomstick and I made a fantastic human team. I was running with my Pew Pew, and he was basically just maining Mega XL.
Yeah,
like with the
shellfish.
What's that thing?
Yeah, shellfish.
Shellfish.
And it was like we could take out anything except for things behind us, because neither of us had the situational awareness to look behind a friggin' bush.
I got to see at one of the hold missions we did, when we were informed that there was nothing but super zombies coming, I got to see him spin the drum on that and just dump all of his shotgun shells and start loading Mega XL shells. You're like, all right, that was cinematic and awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was.
Yeah, I'm building one now.
Yeah, I kind of want one.
There you go.
I was sold when I watched him play with his. I definitely want one.
All right.
Yeah, the fact that you can turn off the shell ejection, and you're like, that's a feature that all shell ejecting blasters should have, if you can muzzle load like Mega XL or something.
Yeah.
So that was
last.
pretty cool. Yeah, Hickseh, you're last.
Well, I mean, I could pick it up there, but I actually do want to roll it back because we haven't talked about the start of. We heard about Chelo wandering off. What he missed was the part where the handful of us were looking for him, and him and Rocket had gone off for objective. I think it was A or B or H or whatever. And then Al and I ran into Boom and Silverfox, and they're like, where are you going? We're like, well, we're going to E. I was like, E. So we got like a bunch of people just jazzed about going to objective E. That we came up with a cheer. It was just, It was a lot of fun. And so on our way to E, we find out that some squad has punked our objective and taken our objective, and we were no longer E. We had to go over to G, which was, almost as good, but not as good, except it was 1,000 times better, because we walk around the corner of this parking garage, and there's the game moderator standing there all G-Man-like. And it's just, they literally, like, cinematically open the trunks of SUVs and go, okay, throw your stuff in there, you're a troll squad. Yeah, and I've never, in all my years, I've never been part of Troll Squad, and I just went, this is the best. I do not care that I no longer did E. I managed to get Troll Squad, and I got a couple tags off the beginning, which turned out to be my only tags of the weekend, because I made it all the way to the end in some way or another.
And who got you?
The little girl that Al told how to do the job, and she did it perfectly. We had a special coming at me. I was hanging out with Josh at the time in the final stand, and like a line of tanks came at us. So I grabbed my Mega XL and popped one, and as soon as it went down, this tiny little zombie in a red vest comes flying around it, running at me. And as I'm running, backpedaling with my arms Superman over, trying to avoid getting tagged by this small child, I just said to myself, what am I doing? And stopped. I'm like, she's got me, dude. Like, all I'm going to do is like either trip backwards over something or fall on top of the small child. This is it. She's got me. I'm dead to rights here. So I let her tag me so I could give her my brain, and then watch the end of the final stand while slowly taking off my gear and leaving it on the Dark Collection cart, which is the joy when you know the janitor zombies. That's
right. Talanax has informed me. She's one of their locals, and they call her Creeper.
Oh, perfect. Absolutely perfect. She was fantastic. She was so good. She's definitely gonna be one to watch out for in future games.
Oh my god. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we were talking like what Cap you said earlier about like changing things up, there was something that came up, and I didn't. It's something to discuss because again, when I was a tank, it's easy to tell when you're getting hit by like Mega XL or by even just like Mega Darts. Although a couple times I'm sitting there, someone yelling at me, "Dude, I hit you with a Mega," and I'm looking, I'm like, it's just half darts at me, and I look on the ground and realize that wasn't a half dart, that was this.
Yeah, mega half darts. They're a thing.
No, they're not mega half darts. They were
They're
cut
even
down
less.
they were actually shorter than a short dart.
Yeah.
Some people were doing multi-loading those into mega shells for like silly blasters, so they were actually getting a shotgun mega shell, which
Someone
goes
else had
completely.
a half dart mega flywheeler.
So
Oh,
then
this is
that's a
what.
question.
Yeah, that's not a half
It-
dart though. That's smaller.
Yeah. That's
It's
the
literally
question.
smaller than an actual half dart.
Like I realized what it was, but the first time I saw it and got when you getting hit with this, it's kind of like, is that legal or not legal? I know for speed wise it probably isn't, but then it just comes down to like how much are you allowed to modify a dart in terms of standard rounds and otherwise.
It is specifically in the rules that you could cut down darts as long as they were,
but
official manufactured darts.
like
as
that
long as the
short
foam
though
was
is
longer than the
is-
head, it's one of those.
Yeah.
Although it
Okay.
complies with the rule, it's a big thing we find in racing. This is one of those as far as the way the rule is written, it's 100% legal. As far as the spirit of the rule, which is cutting them down so that they fit in silly shells for the most part, that's dubious. I like the ingenuity of multi-packing them, but I think it's a hole that needs to get closed sooner rather than later.
Yeah, we had that question here in our group. What did we want to consider half megas? Do we consider them mega? Do we consider them light ammo? And my argument is that they should be considered mega. It's still, and plus one, there's very few things that shoot them. They're still horrifically inaccurate. And if cutting it down changes its size, then what do you consider a half dart? Is it no longer standard ammo? Is it lighter because it's smaller than a full-length dart? No, it's still considered light ammo because it just is. I would like to I had some questions about whether the flywheel half dart one was actually hitting under the cap for mega darts, because that stung when it hit. But meh. It came up here and I was like, there are 2 people in the Pacific Northwest with blasters that shoot half mega. This does not need its own special rule.
Yeah. Although I do think that we should eventually, like, probably as a hobby, standardize what a half mega length is.
There are no standards in this hobby, man. It's one of the beauties of it and one of the very, very, very annoying things about it. HVZs have different FPS caps.
Yeah.
Clubs have different FPS caps. Everybody who designs a blaster uses different screws. For the love of God, can somebody standardize the hardware in this hobby?
I mean, we kind of did for the rest of the world. We use metric. It's all y'all backwards pseudo Brits that can measure anything in something that doesn't make sense.
But even in metric,
how big
I've
is
got
that?
a blaster
5
that's
cheeseburgers.
I've got metric blasters that have 6 different bolt lengths. There's no need for that. There's just design better. Design it so it only takes 1. For the love of God.
Not to mention, there's some blasters that call for like different types of screws in the same size category.
Yeah.
Why?
Or the one that I've seen that you're like, okay, no. And apparently this person was told no. Somebody submitted a blaster to Out of Darts that required you to cut down a standard metric bolt. And Out of Darts is like, no, you will redesign this so that it takes a standard length or we will not carry it. And you're like, good for you.
Yes. Like for me, it wasn't me saying like this should be banned, this should be anything else. It's just because I found it surprising. I understand why it was, but it was like clarification. Is that they were all on the same page for stuff like this. And again, it borders like, is this something where we're taking rules and going further? Or if it's not, it's just when you put on a vest, you get hit with a lot of these. You get hit
Yeah.
with a lot of these, and you take notice where it's like, this is right? So that was me. This was not me taking a stand one way or the other. This was just like, I'd like clarification. That's it.
Yeah. But yeah, the lack of standards in our hobby is, like I said, we've got no central authority of any kind of us to form or force or enforce any kind of standard. What's the standard for competitive? Every event does their own style of competitive. Different magazines, different blaster caps, different game style.
Yeah.
Which is fun, but it does make it hard to actually form, any kind of a league because we're all playing a different game. Imagine
That's
if
true.
every city's baseball team had slightly different rules, or every league had slightly different rules. And I know that does happen in some sports, but in general, cricket is cricket and baseball is baseball and football is football.
Funny enough, it actually happens in most sports. Every league has slightly different rules and criteria and stuff because, well, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Generally, it's a matter of things happen at skill levels. But for that point, baseball has been going on for 100 and some odd years, where we've been at this since all of our lifetimes.
Yeah. So I do love that every tournament is slightly different, but it does have its downsides. How do you train as a team when the way you play in Flag Dash might be completely different than your way you're going to play Rag?
I am the worst one to ask that. My team doesn't train. We are spread out across 2 countries.
I'm making the assumption that these teams are in fact professional and actually do drill.
Yeah,
some of them
there
do.
are some that do. Some of them do,
and they tend to win.
There.
Go figure.
Yeah.
But I think overall, then, for Survival Fest, how far it's come, how much detail they put in the story is something else as well.
The story and the props and the NPCs, and they had a lot of. They need to work on their briefing technology because the plan was to have one briefing that was in both rooms, and they never did get that working well.
They never figured that out, which led to a lot of confusion.
Yeah, it led to a lot of confusion about, because we spent, I think, a half an hour grilling them about the rules and loopholes for the turrets, and then the humans were told none of the clarifications that we got about how they worked.
For us, it sounded really simple. Zombie in turret must put ammo in turret, can't hit zombie for round 2 count dropping in. We were allowed to hand drop them in, and the zombie inside was not allowed to just drop the blaster and turn into zombie and jump out of the ring for also very obvious reasons, which ended up happening a few times.
Well, that's because we were told we could do that.
Yeah, and that's
we were told at any point you can drop the blaster and leave the turret and become a zombie. And in fact, the turret can just tag people as a zombie.
Yeah, we were told the exact opposite because
we discovered
this,
which is again why I'm less salty about the
blaster. Can they drop the blaster and hop over? And they were like, that sounds like a safety thing. No. We're like, yeah, because if we're running in trying to drop the ammo and socks in, I don't want someone to just drop a blaster and possibly A, hit me with it, and B, now there's a blaster that they're leaping over that I'm sliding into.
Yeah.
All of the bad ideas.
Were you informed that you could just stun the turrets with Mega XL?
I don't think so.
No, not at all. As far as we were concerned, we could not stun the turrets.
No,
because we were told was the ammo had to just drop in. That would have changed everything. We spent a good amount of time ammo, and I lost quite a few people in my squad just trying to pull enough zombies off of the respawn anchor that was between those 2 turrets so that I could mount a counter push to take out the turrets, and Colin ended up sacrificing himself to take out the turrets. And it was a really interesting mechanic, but I feel that in the end, and I love all of the mods. I know a lot of them personally. the big problem I find with Survival Fest is there's not enough solid communication between the mods, and there's not enough singular voice happening. I find that some mods will just decide to change things, as we heard about the lockpicks. Now, that may have come from Michael directly, it may not. I do applaud him for being able to pivot when he needs to. I've been to all three Survival Fests. They've all been some of the best HVZs that I've ever been to. I keep coming down. The fact that this was one was at Athens made me like really want to play, having heard all of the amazing stories over the years about how Athens was and the thing I will say is they did stick true to Athens, and the game technically started with mission 0.5 in the middle of the night, and
the torrential rainport.
And the torrential rainport, but that technically for all of us, the game had started, whether you were banded or not, was on you. And it didn't end until that final stand. There were people playing at lunch. There were people playing overnight, just in organized missions.
Let's talk about that, the lunch one, because again, we were in town, which is great. You haven't experienced the fact that against College Town, and that just because it was lunch break or otherwise, if you chose to don your bandana, it was fair game. So again, we ended up with Buffalo Wild Wings. Do we sense a theme here? Again, it was open. We ended up with Buffalo Wild Wings, and while we're sitting in there, we saw someone, and again, at that point, most of our lunch crew was zombies anyways, and we saw a guy walk in, and you're like, wait, he's still in gameplay. And so while you're eating lunch, it was funny watching Phil and Adriel from the Maryland Foam Alliance trying to circle the building, and then all of a sudden you see people running back and forth and darts flying. See, that's how you do lunch at an HVZ.
Yep. No, we were told that we were blue vests. We could be stunned by Mega XL, which we were kind of confused why they weren't shooting us.
Yep.
Right?
No, that note. The opposite was told to us, that we could not stun the turrets. We just had to take them out.
And again, like
that would explain why you weren't able to just walk over the top of us. I thought it was going to be a real short mission and that we were just doing a really good job defending. But if you weren't shooting the turrets at all, that explains a lot.
Yeah, no, and even at that point, like I had plenty of Mega XL ammo on me. There were no tanks down our end. It was just I think maybe 13, 14 of us that had gone all the way around in that end, which would have been really interesting had you guys been told that the lockpick, whatever was happening. And that's why I think it didn't happen during the mission, because then you would have had to go through us at the top of the staircase just to get downstairs to the couple of people that had stayed behind to deal with whatever was going on with the MacGuffin person. I can't remember what relation she was to person thing.
Yeah,
it was a really cool storyline. I will say that
it was neat. One of the things that got me tagged, and this is entirely me thinking I was cleverer than the mods. I had left all of my throwables in the build in my room, so I had no throwables. I just had the one Mega XL blaster that I knew was sketchy. But then we got some of the hex bags, the throwable Mega XL ammo, and I grabbed one of them. And then while we were doing the hold, the person playing Dina, or Dina Strife instead of Dean Winchester, whatever, made a point of coming over and making contact with me, like making physical contact.
I think that's noticed, Kelsey.
Yeah, that they hadn't done that to anybody else. And my theory was that she was, in fact, a demon and that she had just possessed me and was going to bring it up at the least opportune moment possible.
Yep.
Because that's the sort of thing they would do. It's the sort of thing I certainly would do.
It's 100% what Kelsey would do, yeah.
Let's hex the person with the proton pack.
Yep.
No.
So... one of the other people that was in my group had a hex bag, and another person that was in the squad with me didn't. And so I gave them the hex bag because the only way to unpossess someone was to hit them with a hex bag. So I said, here, take this. I think I just got possessed. If I do, in fact, get possessed, hit me with the hex bag. And then I had no throwables when the supers rushed me. Turns out I hadn't been hexed. I just thought I was clever. So, yeah, my getting tagged was no fault of the designers or any of that. It was actually the reason that there were so many supers was, in fact, the humans' fault. We were supposed to break into 9 human groups and go one group to each of the missions. We didn't. We combined into, I think, 4 human groups, and then 2 of them became troll squads.
Yeah. What could possibly go wrong?
It was supposed to be a small troll squad. It ended up being a much, much larger troll squad because we were dumb.
I don't know who I followed because I should have just went troll squad, but then someone, it might have been Boom, and said, I don't want to be troll squad. Come on, let's go this way. Oh, okay. And I went that way instead. I went left instead of right. And that's how I ended up with your group. And I'm like, I have started with nobody that I started with because everyone's all over the place. And sure enough, I get back to one. Dude, you should have went troll squad.
It was Jim that ended up not wanting to go troll squad. Jim, because he wanted to play with his blaster.
No, but Jim was waving. I left Jim when he was still loading blasters. I didn't see him till later. He was salty.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, because he went his first HVZ. He definitely took a left when he should have taken a right, and he found himself in the middle of the tryhard zone, and somehow by himself and made it out.
How did you? Like, Talanax is claiming he got me killed. Talanax, how did you get me killed?
Tell us.
Were you supposed to be in the rear guard with me and you left me to die?
That sounds like something he would do.
Oh dear.
Although him and I were joking earlier today that we're kind of proud. There's been a few times where him and I have been in charge of the humans just by virtue, I guess, of us 2 being loud enough and people listen. Whenever that happens, we start realizing all of a sudden more specials start showing up, and we've now said they call it throwing the kitchen sink at us.
Yeah, the way I worded it was, if you show up to Survival Fest loaded for bear, they're gonna throw a bear at you because you've literally asked them to.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you be disappointed if you showed up absolutely loaded and then they just send 5 regular Zeds at you for an hour? Like I said, I got no problem with how I died. It was literally a squad of 9 super zombies that it took to take me out. I'm okay with that.
I same boat. I had a bunch of super zombies hitting us on the flank, and one of them was only 3 feet tall, hidden behind another super zombie who was very much not 3 feet tall. And then they came out like,
whoever decided to give the child a vest to make them immune to regular ammunition.
Diabolical.
Oh my god!
We saw one go by. It was a small child in a red vest with a noodle. You're like, that one is gonna kill
everybody.
Yes.
I'm sure we're talking about the same child.
Yes.
Yeah, she took Al's heart to heart, and then went for the heart and the jugular.
The tag that I got to witness, and you may have heard it. It was during the last stand, the final hold. Somebody decides to make a run for it. They're sprinting across the field towards the arches. They're dodging left, dodging right. They're doing really well, and then a pool noodle comes out of nowhere and full force right to the nads. And it
I saw that.
Popped. It reverberated through the courtyard. This man's legs turned into pool noodles, and down he went. But he was such a good sport about it. And it was, of course, Able Crewman Rocket who did it.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. It was beautiful, beautiful thing.
That was good.
I am very sad I missed that.
Talanax, no. Like I said, I have no beef with how I went down. No, I didn't want to go down in Mission 1. Yes, it made the rest of my weekend unpleasant, but it was my turn. I've been the last human in more HVZs than I can count. I've been in the last stand more times than I can count. And I only got to have that fun because other poor people went out in mission 1 and had to charge into my firing line for 8 hours. It was my turn.
That's the one thing about HVZ that I think sometimes gets lost on people. If you're going to play this game, you have to accept the fact that you are going to spend a year planning out the perfect loadout. You're going to meticulously plan absolutely everything. You're going to tune your blaster. You're going to make sure it fires flawlessly. Every mag meticulously lubed and ready to go. Brand new, fresh darts, never even been sniffed before they went into those mags. You were ready. You had your squad. You were 100%. You guys were going to go and take out all of the zombies, and you were going to win HVZ. And then you got bush zombied 5 minutes into the first mission. It will happen. Accept it.
It always happens.
Just accept it.
Somebody's going to be the first person tagged. And the thing you have to remember, the thing that I will harp on is that when you agreed to go to HVZ, when you signed up to go to HVZ, there is a social contract that you will play a zombie when you get tagged.
It is your turn.
It is your turn. It is your moral and ethical duty to play a zombie for as long as you can, because the other people were doing it for you. If you decide to, I got tagged in mission 1, I'm just going to pack up and leave, you shouldn't have come.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're going to do that, just don't show up. Because you're not going to have fun because you got tagged earlier than you wanted to, and now there's no one to play the zombie. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't take getting tagged too seriously. It's just part of the game. It's called humans versus zombies. There's only 2 parts of it. When you're attending a game, you're agreeing that you're going to play both at some point.
And it's not until you do it a bit that you understand that the way more fun game is being a zombie.
It's much less stressful. You don't have to worry
so much
anymore.
Better.
You don't have to worry about your gear, dropping off
lives.
of you.
The last 2. So the first Mayhem, consequently, and the first Survival Fest, I made it to the end. So it was the first HVZs that I'd done, and I did it back to back. And at that moment, I looked at myself and I went, I'm last standed 2 HVZs back to back in a row with some very, very good mods running them. 2 very solid HVZs. I'm good. I'm so good. And I have chosen when I've gone down the last 2 Mayhems. One last year, I tug a ward with Charles over the safety zone. And if you'll remember, the line of the safety zone for zombies is a nice pavement walkway. And the humans is grass. And Charles, and I love you, buddy, but he has at least 50 pounds on me. I was not winning that tug of war. I knew the second I put my hand up, I was done. But I was hot and tired and wanted to go wander around and drink Gatorade and listen to tunes while picking up darts and hanging out with my friends for a little bit.
Which is also fun.
Well, literally, keeping my shoes in the wagon that we bring along with us to do the zombie cleanup, just so I can throw my shoes on every once in a while and go run at the horde, and then come back and enjoy a tactical and continue on with my day. You get to spend a lot of time hanging out with a lot of really cool people when you just embrace being a zombie. Whereas as a human, you are watching every corner. You are watching over your back for the guy beside you that you're hoping with all of your being is actually just going to watch their section and not wander off. That's as a human, you have 2 jobs: watch your section, don't wander off.
And shut up! Stop yelling so loud too. But those drive me nuts.
Stop yelling at people. Stop. Hold on. I actually want to say this is a big thing for me. If you really want to do well in an HVZ and you are in the middle of a column of humans and you are barking orders at people, You have really broken rule 0. You are being a dink. Stop it. All of you. Every single one of you. If you want a corner covered, get out there and cover your corner. It's your turn to do it. People will follow you if you can show them that you're going to do everything you're asking them to do. That's why people follow me in an HVZ. That's why people follow Talonx in an HVZ. We've been playing it long enough, and we don't bark at people left, right, and center. And if people aren't listening to you, just go with the flow. Just accept it, or watch them wander off and get tagged. Everyone gets got at some point, and sometimes you got to hang them out when
And
they're
I've
just barking.
said at many an HVZ, stupid humans make stupid zombies, and I like stupid zombies.
I love stupid zombies. They're so much fun.
So what I
There is a
realized-
reason that I
if you're-
generally
if
like
you're
working with
yelling-
professionals, so I don't have to
Yeah.
yell at people.
Yeah.
Yep.
But if
And
you're
so I don't get
yelling
tagged from
and
behind
people
because the
aren't
rest,
listening
you
to
know.
you, like if you're yelling and people aren't listening to you, yelling louder is just going to make them listen to
Yeah,
you
you're
less.
you're not yelling the right things. You're not yelling at the right people. Stop it. You know.
You're
It's
not
like-
even
it's
yelling the
one
right
thing-
way.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
a way to yell to get people to listen to you, and there are things to yell that people can understand. You know, most people are not soldiers. They don't understand soldier commands. You have to drill that kind of stuff. You have to train that kind of stuff. You got to make it stupid and obvious, and you have to explain why you're telling them to do this thing, or they won't understand and they won't want to do it, because that's the kind of people that are attracted to the Nerf hobby.
Yeah. I was going to say, though, like, it's one thing to yell as you're running somewhere to like, oh, hey, I need people with me. Come with me. Like, most people are going to be like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. There's somebody running. They're going to go do something. I want to go do something. So they'll go follow them. But if you're just like yelling, hey, go over there, do that thing, but you're standing still doing nothing, I don't know.
Or you're yelling at the 3 people in the middle of the pack who are talking about Pokemon cards at the time because there's not a zombie in sight because it's mission 1 and you were in the middle of nowhere in a field where there's at least 100 yards between you and where the closest zombie could possibly be hiding.
Yeah. But if I'm sure someone was yelling, and if Ryan and one boomstick were listening, they may have seen the zombie in the bushes that came up behind him.
There was
No, you have to understand. They were all alone. No. They broke rule number 2.
No.
Someone
was yelling.
You know someone was yelling on your own.
Someone was yelling. Look at the bush. Check your corner. Someone was yelling.
No one was yelling. They went off on their own.
To be fair, when we went off, we asked people to come with us, and we thought there were like maybe 2 or 3 other people. And when we got halfway across the field, we turned around and there was nobody there, and we're just like,
see,
well, either we go back or we keep going and go to the objective. Well, let's just keep going. Well, we're fine. It'll be fine.
Love it. All right,
it was not fine.
We got it. You weren't fine, but it was a lot of fun. Do HVZ things. So part of it also. So part of the blaster that I got from Hickseh, and then also one that we built for Ludus Games Jim, who's probably in the chat, basically starts with the Protean base. The Protean is a great blaster just because it is so easy to take it apart and back forward. But the best thing is, and specifically against for HVZ, is the fact that you got the skeleton key. The skeleton key with the silly butt blaster on the end and the different shells and the different loadouts, it is perfect for HVZ. So yeah, I had one. We're going to quickly flash this toy because it's a toy. It's just a toy. Yeah, it's a toy. It really is a toy, and it's yellow and orange. We made another one of those. Anyways, as it turns out, it's a front end that Hickseh came up with. Quickly, man, tell us why you did it, because we are running out of time, and the man behind the curtain will go to bed. He's going to say, you guys are on your own and just kill our
So the skeleton key came out, and I'd been trying to figure out a way to basically lob everything I can in an HVZ and have an all-in-one blaster. So when that came out, the person that designed it did it on a gin. They put an extended barrel. So I thought to myself, well, I don't trust the tiny little clamp to not, just drop the blaster. So I decided I needed to make a long barrel, and I sort of just remixed the files a little bit and added my own little flair, and came up with a nice little system that maintains the coupling of the front end for easy on and off. It ends up being 2 screws to take it off from the under rail, and I'm very, very happy with this one. in terms of design. A couple tweaks here and there, but it definitely finally filled that hole that though I love my Strifle, it doesn't fire Mega XL without adding something big to it.
It is great, and I got one of these from Boomstick. So yeah, it is a kit.
Hey guys, I think we got shut down.
Did we?
We're frozen.
But you're
No,
frozen.
it's yours just frozen. We're still going.
We're fine.
Is it? Oh, we're still going. Okay. Oh, it's
just you, man.
It's just on my
Quick,
end. Sorry.
everyone hold really still to confuse
Oh,
Jeff.
really still? Okay, no, we're good. We're good. Hold on. I just had to refresh my other browser that had us all frozen. That just so happened when it literally. The best part of that was the freeze frame that I had was when Al was holding up his Protean, which shows how long ago I was paying attention to the other screen.
For the record,
Yep.
as we begin the show, that was the blaster that was made for Jim. So yeah. Oh, and also that's the thing.
That
He got a
Jim
free
made
one, but he had to
himself.
build
I
it. Yeah.
highly underestimated his building capabilities, and would not
He had
have
to
given
build it.
him that blaster in the first place.
He built it.
I would have gone a different way with this challenge.
Yeah. I came back with some neat blasters. Now that we're at the very end, I picked up the Sten gun because
Toy.
they printed it in my colors and made it left-handed and just had it sitting there on the table. I was set up, is what happened, and I
You were
have no
completely set up.
regrets.
No.
OFD finally got me one of his gizmos. He's been talking about wanting to give me one of these for like 2 years now. He reached out to me and said, I want to send you one of everything that I've designed. I'm like, that's awesome. I'll take it. And then he disappeared for 6 months. So I pinged him going, hey, not to be all, hey, where's my free stuff? But are you dead? What's going on? Turns out his wife had a complicated birth. And that tends to make your life very difficult for a while. So they're like, yeah, no worries. Get to it when you get to it. So 6 months later,
argue,
pinged him.
you're getting torn a new one.
Yeah, 6 months later, like, hey, you dead? He's like, no, it's just, life and all that. You're like, yeah, cool. Pinged him 6 months later. Hey, you dead? He's like, I got everything printed. I just haven't assembled it. And you're like, I don't know if you know this about me, but I like assembling things. Send me the parts. He's like, okay, but there's one that I really want to assemble myself, and because it's a little complicated, and I'll get it to you. 6 months later, how's the toddler treating you? He's like, it's crazy. They don't stop. They never sleep. You're like, I feel you. Someday, I'm sure. So he got me this one, and then TSA broke it. Through my hard shell trunk, they still managed to crack the top cover, but I was able to glue it. It wasn't anything load bearing, and it's gorgeous, and I dig it. And then because Silver Fox is here, I got this from Silver Fox, and they finally sent me the metal priming handle.
What do you mean finally? It was just sitting in your PO box, man.
It was, yeah. I was tempted to go over and like, hey, where's my stuff? I actually paid for this one. Where's my thing? Turns out it was in my PO box, and I just hadn't checked it. But replace the plastic bolt handle with the metal one.
I feel so sorry for that one person in the post office in Vader.
Yeah. There is just the one person, and I get sent a lot of stuff, though it's been a while.
Hey,
so,
it probably single-handedly pays their salary, so.
Probably. So, yeah,
Probably.
Silver Fox, cool stuff, cool printing.
Oh.
I dig it.
I finally got this. Told me I have my
What's
version of the bolter.
Yeah, you got the orc bolter.
I got the orc
The
bolter.
shooter.
Yes, because I know you got one. And again, yeah, dude. Why is my brain going blank? That gave it to me. I love him. He's great, man. We had a long conversation, but it was so much fun, and I love what he did to my logo. So now I got, there it is. I love the orc logo. Where now there will be a T-shirt coming soon with that on it because why not?
It's his logo,
man?
but with the orc jaw, and then mine has got the Aquila, but with the X-Strike logo.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, it was very profitable and great. Now wait, before we go out, Ryan, do you got anything to add? You got anything new coming to the shop or anything you want to talk or drop, or you just want to tell people to send you money?
I mean, you can just send me money, but I will have stuff on the shop if you want to actually receive something. No, I'll eventually be getting Hickseh's Protean barrel extension up on the shop.
I've got a Protean. I wouldn't mind having a long barrel for it.
It'll work better than the sidearm you had that failed you.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah. But yeah, this is the front barrel. It swaps out. It is great. It is comfortable. This is a great toy. It is a great toy. Again, it is a fantastic toy. Yeah, love this thing. But
And
I
you
would
can
have
use it
had
without the
the
underbarrel.
listing
It
up
does-
already, but Hickseh just sent me the files only like 2 days ago, so I haven't even printed it yet. So
It's like I've
What
been
do you
busy
mean?
with events and
Yeah.
making props for shows and stuff.
Fowler Concepts, thank you, Talanax. It was Brad Fowler that made the Warhammer blasters. Thank you, sir. Yeah, don't get old. My brain fails.
Yeah, he-
Ryan, what's your excuse? You've been stuck in a car for 5 days or something? Like, come on, man.
I mean, after Survival Fest, yeah,
The fact that we can hear him right now is impressive.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. So my voice died the day of the
Oh my
con.
god, yeah.
It was so bad. I was like, how does this even happen? Like, I didn't even talk that much leading up to the event, and then like I was sick before like the previous week, but like I didn't think that it would make me lose my voice the day that the con started. And then I had no voice for the entire weekend, and I sounded like a mix of when I did talk, I sounded like a mix of, what did I say in the chat? It was
Batman and
Batman and The Witcher, Geralt.
Yep,
And I was just like,
it's true.
it sounded awful.
Yeah.
It was real bad. But yeah, no, like after that, we, instead of flying home, we decided to drive home with our friend who was moving out here.
You gotta
That was a
picking up strays, man. I've been telling you.
Hey, man, it's the Silver Fox House of Wayward Nerfers. You know,
It really is.
No,
Yeah, but we also really like this one.
yeah.
Very much.
For now.
For now. Yeah.
Well, he's all the way over there. He can't bother me anymore.
Yeah. No, but that was a 4-day drive across the U.S., and that was pretty grueling.
Hey, you guys are going to see the world's largest truck stop, all right?
Yeah, we did. Well, while we drove past it, we didn't actually stop because we noticed it after we were passing the exit, and we're like, God damn it.
No.
I don't want to turn around because that would add time to our already long drive.
God, yes.
And the next exit wasn't for like another 2 miles or something. And I was just like, damn it. Oh, well.
But of course.
We did stop at Uranus Fudge Factory. That was fun.
Yes, you did.
The fudge was actually really good.
Well, but it was.
Did they pack it on site?
They did pack it, and they asked us after we were done checking out. They were like, "How was your experience getting your fudge pack today?"
That is
Damn it, Charles.
Lean into the memes or they'll kill you.
Yeah,
That's
they have
right.
to.
Charles just called me on Discord.
Of course he did.
Stop it.
All right.
He saw
Ladies-
he saw the time.
Yeah.
No. Gentlemen, any final words? like we're all gonna die. There we go, shenanigans. Ryan, what about you? Anything you want to tell
Balderdachery.
people? Balderdachery.
I mean, I'm just gonna take a page out of Captain Slug's book and send me money, man. Like,
That money,
I
scared.
really wanna. I really,
Scared.
really want to make this gear. Like,
Scared.
yeah,
Yes.
for scared. For send
I
scared.
want
gear.
you
I mean,
to make
you can
this
send me
gear.
money. You can send me money, but put it towards scared because we want more colorful gear.
We want that H harness, man. I don't care about the
We want
vest.
the
I already got
H-ray.
orange vests.
Yeah.
But I want that H harness.
Tell your friends, man. Tell your friends, tell other people.
There's a
And-
hydration pack on that list of
That
online
too.
I
ads.
also
You should
want,
you should
yes.
I want
definitely
the hydration pack and the
go check
H
that
harness,
out.
so I can put the hydration pack on the H harness.
my link
and not have to
actually
wear
show
a
up in the
vest
chat
anymore.
because there we go. I'm posting it in the chat again. I don't know if
Do it.
YouTube's gonna like block it or not, but
Post it. We'll see what happens.
yeah.
Make it do.
But if it doesn't
Perfect.
show up in the chat, it's just go to Kickstarter and search SCRD.
Even easier. SCRD2 Kickstarter in Google. It'll take you right to the page.
Yep.
Right to it, man. Right to it. All right.
Charles wants to know if you've checked your shoe, Hicks. Make sure you haven't forgotten anything.
I'm not wearing shoes.
You nasty. You're just giving it away for free. You are, in fact. Yeah. We had
What
this
did I say
conversation
at the-
earlier.
What did I say earlier? Hey, I ain't no
You let
lady
the
of the
mailman-
night. I gotta give it away. Ain't no one wants to pay for that kind of disappointment.
No. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again. Thank you to our guests. Thanks for everyone tuning in at home, man. Again, that was another episode of Get Off My Lawn where we do the old man thing, and this is a lot of fun. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, share with your friends. Again, we're trying to grow it by reaching out to people and connecting everybody. How do we do it? Make us bigger, make our reach bigger and further, man, the more we can do. This week we have... My brain just went blah. We have the Foam Zone with one Andrew, a.k.a. Dark Sweep. I'm sure he has a guest. He just hasn't told me who it was, or if he did, I forgot. But either way, it'll probably be another great episode. And most likely, we'll also probably get his follow-up because he also was at Survival Fest, and we'll get his take on what he was and who he's got there. I'm not sure, but you know it's going to be great. We'll be on again in 2 weeks. Who are we going to have? I don't know, but we'll let you know. Don't forget to check out Silver Fox Industries. As you can see, Hicksey's presenting the new front end on the Protean. It is fantastic. He's got one. I got one. Jim made his own Ludus games, and he survived. He died for it, but in the end, it's worth all of it. So, with that said, thank you, everybody. Love you all very much. We shall see you again in a few weeks. In the meantime, do me a favor, man. Get off my lawn.
No.